All right, hey, this is our project Air America by Rebecca Zeiss and Eric Zeitzheim. What is Air America? It was a secretly owned CIA Airlines, and its components agency was operation in Laos. And by the summer of 1970, the airlines had some 24 twin-engine transports and 24 short takeoff and landing aircraft, or better known as STOLs. 30 helicopters, okay, dedicated operations in Laos and Thailand. There were more than 300 pilots, co-pilots, flight mechanics, air freight specialists flying in and out of Laos and Thailand. It dropped nearly 46 million pounds of foodstuff, mainly rice, in Laos. Helicopter flight time reached more than 4,000 hours a month in that same year. Transported tens of thousands of troops and refugees, medevacs, okay, flew nighttime air missions over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, conducted highly successful photo reconnaissance programs, and engaged in numerous clandestine missions. Without Air America presence, the CIA efforts in Laos could not have been sustained. How did it begin? It began in 1950 in Asia. It was originally known as the Civil Air Transport. It was a commercial airline that the CIA kind of used and still maintained. It was commercial, but used it secretly. It was used during the Korean War and in China. There were many covert operations in China, which I did not know about. As soon as the Korean War was over, that we know that the French started having problems in Indochina. They tried to acquire these colonies or these areas that they lost to the Japanese during World War II. You know, we know this is Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam, and so they were losing there. And so the United States, trying to combat communism everywhere, okay, brought the CAT, the Civil Air Transport, as it was known there, to them. Eisenhower okayed it, okay, and it helped the French in Laos. And then after the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, which the French pretty much pulled out and these countries became somewhat independent, it became more secret. Laos became a major concern when it became independent, I should say, in 1954. The 17th parallel was divided North and South Vietnam. And this new theory emerged in the Eisenhower administration known as the domino theory. You know, we all know what that is. It's like a row of dominoes. You know, when one fell, all the rest would fall. And Laos was considered the kind of first domino. And so it was U.S. aid. Anybody that was to combat or anybody that was against communism, they would aid. And there was a group of people in Laos that were against communism, and Laos had somewhat of a civil war going on there, just like in Vietnam. And if you look at the geography here, Laos was not, you know, Thailand is over to the left of Laos, and so there was no sea surrounding Laos, so air travel or air reconnaissance was the only way to go. In 1959, the CAT, okay, becomes known now as officially Air America. The slogan is anywhere, anything, anywhere, anywhere, anytime, I should say, and professionally. Primarily in Indochina, it transported civilians, diplomats, spies, doctors, DEA officials, and probably its most prominent person that flew on Air America covertly is former Vice President Richard Nixon. I love this photo of Richard Nixon. I found this. This is him bowling. Okay. Another thing that Air America did, which coincides with the last week's post, week 14th post, is Agent Orange. Agent Orange destroyed so much farmland that food shortages emerged, and Air America ended up dropping food into places that needed it because of our doing or our destroying the land with Agent Orange. So kind of an offshoot of Agent Orange, one could say. Air America played a major role in in a thing called Operation Frequent Wind. I didn't even know the name of this until I started studying this, but this is the fall of Saigon and trying to get out as many Americans as they possibly could in 1975, and also Vietnamese people who sided with the Americans. Here you have two classic photos. You know, this is the helicopter on top of the American assembly or embassy here, as people were lined up to get onto the helicopter. Another classic photo on an aircraft carrier that was being filled up so much with people they had to get rid of perfectly good helicopters and threw them simply into the ocean to make more room on the aircraft carrier for people. So they played a major role in this. There was allegations of drug smuggling in Laos with Air America. There were two drugs in Laos that were poppy seed based, opium and heroin. And many of these drugs, because of currency was not stable in Laos, was used for currency. Air America has alleged that it profited, that some people or some pilots personally profited from this, and this is portrayed in a movie that is not totally accurate, but is based on a book that was written in 1979, which I'll show you in a minute here. However, there is well documented that some pilots did, profit from this drug trade. After the war, Air America kind of pulled out in first of all, the United States pulls out in 1975. There was an attempt to keep it going, a presence in Thailand. However, the mood in America, and probably a new president with Carter, kind of just get everything that dealt with Indochina away, and so it was eventually dissolved in '76, I believe. The assets were eventually purchased by the Evergreen International Airlines. That would be like the planes and the helicopters. All of the employees that worked for Air America were released and received no benefits, whatever, because it was a covert operation. Even to this day, we're not exactly sure who was actually employed by Air America. And it was definitely a movie made there in, I believe, 1990 with Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. It's a movie based on a 1979 book, and it definitely dealt with the drug trade. And kind of ironic here, Robert Downey Jr., this is early on before his troubles with substance abuse. I just kind of thought of that right there. It's an entertaining movie if you haven't seen it. I think it's on YouTube right now. So here are a couple sources that we found, and most of the information was found right here from this airamerica.org. So that is it, and I hope you learned something from Air America. Thank you very much.